All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hope for the elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short lesson. I have alone the spirit of Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, and allows it to go. I don't want to name the video. Watch for it. The end is near. All right, and that's from Ezekiel the 7th chapter, which I'm gonna read here in a second. But Lord wills, brothers can see on the screen. I have this article here. All right, and it says 5 warning signs that the end of dollar hegemony is near. Here's what happens. Here's what happens next. All right, and Lord will, if the Lord have it, I'm gonna come back and do a lesson on the word hegemony. But real quick, hegemony means leadership, dominance, especially by one country or social group over others. And like I said, the Lord will have it. I'm gonna come back and do a lesson on that because that word is a heavy word in itself. But yeah, what we've been patiently waiting for, is the end of this current money system, this current paper money system, fiat money system, fiat currency, debit cards, credit cards, basically physical cash, and they're doing away with that, and the bringing in, the ushering in of digital currency, which we're quickly approaching, vastly approaching that. All right, as we speak, we're definitely living in the times of Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. All right, which that's the end all be all. Once the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai fully brings that prophecy to pass, then that's pretty much ball game. That's it. After that, the third world war is already laid out on the table. These nations are ready to nuke each other now as we speak, but the Karagma hasn't come to pass yet. All right, but again, it said 5 reasons how you know the dollar is done. I'm gonna focus on, I think it's 4, which I can read all of them, but matter of fact, I'll read all 5 of them, but pretty much, I think it's 4. Um, it's the main reason why you're seeing inflation out of control, the value of the dollar going down, which now they're saying the decline of the dollar is happening since, like, I think May or March. I think it's May. The dollar has been pretty strong, but now it's starting to steadily go down in value. It's weakening. All right, which they say they want a weak dollar anyway, but um it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and the value of it is pretty much already worthless. Once your currency is 80%, 80 lost 80% of its value, all right, your dollar is pretty much worthless. But I'm gonna read all 5 of these, but I want to focus on, I think it's 4. All right, it says warning signs. Number 1, Russia's sanctions prove dollar reserves aren't really money. Okay, I'm just read them, and I will read the whole thing. It says warning sign. Second, warning sign number 2, Slovakia, rubles, gold, and Bitcoin for gas, oil, and other commodities. Right, because in order for you to purchase gas, oil and all that, you have to switch. Other nations will have to switch their currency, exchange their currencies for U.S. dollars. All right, and pretty sure all the brothers out there already know that. But that's disappearing. All right, you got nations, top oil selling nations are switching it up. They want to sell their oil for other things other than the U.S. dollar. All right, and once Saudi Arabia fully pulls the plug on that, and the rest of them OPEC nations fully pull the plug on that, which the top one being Saudi Arabia, decide that they don't want to sell their oil anymore for U.S. dollars. We're gonna sell it for the digital yuan or the digital ruble, or the ruble or the yuan or gold and silver. We're gonna sell it for that. We're not gonna sell it for U.S. dollars. That's pretty much the end of the U.S. dollar. All right, like it tells you in that documentary called which I uploaded a few times, Operation Sandman. All right, warning sign number 3: the petrodollar system flirts with collapse, which is collapsing right now. I'm gonna read a little bit of this one. It says oil is by far the largest and most strategic like a commodity market. For the last 50 years, virtually anyone who wants to import oil needs U.S. dollars to pay for it, right? Like I said earlier, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shah. That's because in the early 70s, I'm pretty sure all the brothers out there know this. Um, but the U.S. made in the early 70s, the U.S. made an agreement to protect Saudi Arabia in exchange for ensuring, among other things, all OPEC producers only accept U.S. dollars for their oil, and that's pretty much over with. Because Saudi Arabia is looking to join BRICS, and sooner or later they're more than likely going to pull the plug on that. Every country needs oil, um, and if foreign countries need U.S. dollars to buy oil, they have to compel reason to hold large dollar reserves. And that's what keeps the dollar pumping. But once nations say we don't want to deal with the dollar anymore, then the dollar's going to be worthless. This creates a huge artificial market for U.S. dollars and forces foreigners to soak up many of the new currencies units the Fed created. Naturally, this gives a tremendous boost to the value of the dollar. The system has helped create a deeper and more liquid market for the dollar and U.S. Treasuries. It's also allowed the U.S. government to keep interest rates artificially low, thereby by forcing enormous deficit it otherwise would be unable to. In short, the petrol system has been the bedrock of the U.S. financial system for about 50 years. Yeah, that's it. Only the U.S. dollar isn't backed by anything. All right. But besides these nations having to exchange their currency in order to buy oil, because of the petrol, like the article just said, um, the deal that the U.S. made with Saudi and the rest of the OPEC nations, in the 70s. Um, Other than that, the dollar's not backed by anything. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold, silver. Only thing it's backed by is that reason that deal with the Saudis made it in tanks and guns. All right, because any nation that gets out of line, what happens? Their country gets invaded. All right, that's the only thing the U.S. dollar is backed by. That agreement they got with OPEC and the U.S. military, basically. Um, but that's all about to change and soon. After it's invaded After it invaded Ukraine, the U.S. government kicked Russia out of the dollar system and seized hundreds of billions in dollar reserves of the Russian central banks. Washington has threatened to do the same to China for years, and China's getting ready to go into Taiwan too. So let's say the U.S. does the same thing to China they did to Russia. Stop stop buying their supplies and everything to jack up their economy. Try to jack up their economy, which isn't going to work. Only thing it's going to do is f up the U.S. economy, all right, or whatever. Say the U.S. like the U.S. stopped buying gas and stuff from Russia. All right. Say if when China invades Taiwan, because Biden already said they're going to back them. All right. We're not going to buy anything else from China anymore. What if they decide to do that? All right. Just a thought, which more than likely that's not going to happen. All right, because prophecy has to be fulfilled on top of all that, because the scriptures speak about nations bombing America and feeling sorry for America. I mean, it's not feeling sorry for America, but feeling sorry because nobody buys their goods anymore. All right, once America's destroyed, because America don't make any. Babylon don't make nothing. They get everything imported. Of course, brothers are out there already know that too. But Salakia for the rent. But it says Washington has threatened to do the same to China for years. These threats help ensure that China cracks down on North Korea, didn't invade Taiwan, which they're getting ready to do. Not North Korea, but China, and did other things the U.S. wanted. These threats against China may be a bluff, but if the U.S. government carries them out, as it recently did against Russia, it will be likely dropping a financial nuclear bomb on Beijing without access to the dollar. China will struggle to import oil, which no they wouldn't, because they get it from Russia, like they're doing now, and engage in international trade. As a result, in the economy will come to a grinding halt, an intolerable threat to the Chinese government. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, that was what was that, 4 or 3? So that's something to definitely look out for. Because they're getting ready to leave the U.S. Dollar anyway soon. Because more than likely Saudi Arabia is getting ready to join BRICS. But this is the one I was talking about. 4, warning sign 4, out of control money printing, which is going on. They said like what 80% of the dollars in circulation now was printed during the Big C, during the pandemic. Control money printing and record price increases, which is going on right now, called inflation. All right. Hold on. So that's going on now. So that's another major sign to show. Fed chair admits dollar supremacy is dead. They come out and just say it's over with. But this is the main one I wanted to focus on. This is what you're suffering from right now. Out of control money printing, which is devaluing the dollar and soon to be completely and utterly worthless, and record price increases. And that's due to the inflation. All right, because of the mass money printing. All right, so this system is almost dead, man. This system is almost out of here. And a lot of guys, these financial guys, these multi-millionaires and billionaires like Elon Musk and all them guys are coming out and saying it's going to be a recession, the dollar's going to crash, all right, the markets are going to crash 2023, next year, which, what's the day, the 29th? No, the day's the 30th. All right, today's the 30th, so we got 2 more days after today. Got tomorrow, and Sunday is the 1st. New Year's, so-called New Year's Day. All right, the beginning of 2023, which could be a year of hell, man. All right, but this is Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 6, 8. So like the end is come, the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold it come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwell in the land, what land? America. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not this sounding against of the mountains. Right, the day of trouble is near. And when this dollar goes, that's when all hell is gonna break loose, man. All right, once this dollar goes, once this dollar is done, dead and buried, all hell is gonna break loose. Once the banks seize people money, and the money becomes and eventually becomes completely and utterly worthless. That's when worthless. That's when you're gonna see all hell break loose in America, man. When people ain't got access to their bank accounts anymore, or the dollar is worthless. All right, jumping down to verse 19, and they should cast their silver in the streets, and their gold should be removed. Right, the Lord said they should cast their silver in the streets, and their gold should be removed. Right, which this is talking about actual gold and silver, but the gold, so-called, the gold and silver that we use today, the money, basically the money that we use today, is paper money, U.S. dollars, or whatever country you're in. Paper money or debit cards and credit cards, or you swipe your cell phone or whatever, or you scan your cell phone, whatever. All right, but that's about to be done away with. Paper money is about to be done away with, and the next system's coming in. All right, which we know what the next system's going to be. And with that, I'm gonna close on this one. This is Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 17. All right, and he calls for all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the mark in their right hand and their forehead. We know that mark is the charagma, which is the microchip technology. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, say he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so the Lord said nobody's going to be able to buy and sell unless you have that charagma. All right, so what does that tell you? That this paper money has to be done away with. All right, because the only option you're going to have in order to purchase things is to have the charagma inside of you. All right, and again, this article right here, 5 warning signs, the end of dollar. All right, dollar is done, man. Pretty much done. All right, and 2023 could be it. You know, the year the Lord, finally does this, collapses the dollar, pushes the dollar out of the way, and bring in the charagma. All right. So, Lord Wood, this video was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Again, I'm just surfing through the net late night. We just got off work not too long ago. And, yeah, man, just meditate, man. Just searching through articles. This place is almost done, man. So with that, I pray this video was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Kodash. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar, and on down to rule well, and peace and safety to you brothers that push this truth and sincerity. Salakia. With that, I'm going to say shalom.